Hello everybody and welcome to our e-class learning concerning grammar. I'm Miss Mariam Amer, English teacher for Prep1, and I'm here today to cover with you now the difference between past simple and present simple perfect. Let's start. I will start now guys from slide 2. As you see now guys, we will talk about the past simple tense and what meaning of past simple tense. The past simple tense shows that you are talking about something that has already happened, and it emphasizes that the action is finished. How we can formulate and how we can form the past simple tense. For regular verbs, we have to add ed to the root form of the verb. And sometimes we are adding d to the root form already ends by letter e. For example, if I have say, listen will be listened, so I will add ed to the verb. If I have type ends by letter E, it will be typed. I will add only letter D to the verb. And for sure guys, I have some irregular verbs like see will be so, go will be went, put. And we have sometime expressions like ago, yesterday, day, last week, last month, last year, and in 1998. So if you find guys one of these time expressions, you have to use past simple. Let's move on guys to the next slide, slide 3. Now guys, we will talk about the usage of the past simple and how we can use it. For example guys, I can use it to describe completed actions in the past, and the time is usually mentioned. For example, I can say, I bought a CD player yesterday. And also, I can use it to describe completed actions that happened one after the other in the past. For example, I can say, I walked in the garden, ate an ice cream, and met my friend. Let's move on to the next usage. To describe past habits or repeated actions in the past, often used with adverbs of frequency. For example, I can say, when I was younger, I often went running in the park. And also we have another usage to describe permanent situations in the past, like Ali lived with his grandparents when he was young. Let's move on to the next usage to describe an action in the past that interrupted a longer action in progress. Like, I was sleeping, that takes time when the phone rang, so I have to wake up to reply on the phone. Now guys, we have finished now the usage of the past simple on slide 3. Let's move on to slide 4. The past simple questions and the negative. How we can form a question in past simple and how we can form the negative. We use did to make questions and negatives. For example guys, we have two kinds of questions, yes or no question and WH question. Let's talk about the yes or no question. I can say, for example, did she play tennis when she was younger? And in that case guys, I can say yes she did or no she didn't. Also, I can ask another question, did you live abroad? I can say, yes, I live, or no, I didn't live. This is regarding to the yes or no question. But if we are talking about the WH question, I will start my question by WH, and then I will put the helping verb did, and then I will put the subject, you, and then I will put the main verb, go. So the question will be, where did you go for your holiday? In that case, guys, you can say, I went to the beach for my holiday. But guys, we have some questions I can use who, and we don't often use it. Like, who discovered penicillin? So now guys, I'm asking about the subjects. That's why we don't have the helping verb. If we have another question, who wrote Black Beauty? Now, because I'm asking about the subject, that's why I cancelled the helping verb. Except for verb to be. The formula will be was or were plus subject. For example, I can say, was David in a good mood yesterday? You can say, yes, David was, or no, David wasn't in a good mood yesterday. Now guys, we have finished the slide 4 and let's move on to slide 5. We will talk now about the negative form, how we can form a negative in past simple. We use didn't or did not to make negatives with the past simple. For example, you can say they didn't play, they didn't go to Spain this year. You can say we didn't get home until very late last night. Also, you can say I didn't see you yesterday. Except for verb to be, we use was not or were not instead of didn't. For example, you can say we were not ready for the exam yesterday, or you can say we weren't ready for the exam yesterday. Now guys, let's move on to the next slide, and the next slide will be slide 6. After we have finished now guys the past simple, let's talk now about the present perfect simple. The present perfect is formed from the present tense of the verb have and the past participle of the verb. So the form will be have or has plus pp, past participle. Questions are indirected by inverting the subject and has or have, and the negatives are made with not. Let's talk about this statement, how we can form a statement sentence. It will be you have seen that movie many times. As you see now guys, I'm starting my sentence by you. This is a subject, and then I will put have. This is a form of present perfect, and then I will put now the past participle pp. The question, how we can form a question. I can say, have you seen that movie many times? And regarding to the negative will be, you haven't seen that movie many times. Let's move on to the next slide, and this slide will be slide 7. We will talk now guys about the usage of the present perfect symbol. What about the usage of the present perfect symbol? We can use it guys for actions which happened in the past, but the exact time is not mentioned. For example, you can say, I have already done the housework. Now, as you see, the mentioned or the exact time not mentioned. But if I'm saying for you, I did the housework yesterday, so now I mentioned the time, so I have to use past symbol. Regarding to the next usage, for actions which started in the past and continued up to the present. For example, you can say, Mary has had her dog since September. Okay, so now we have an action started in the past and continued up to the present. Let's move on to the next usage. For actions that happened in the past and finished, but the results are obvious or clear in the present. For example, if you can say, Tom has washed his car. It's clean now in front of my eyes, so that's why I can use the present perfect. Let's move on to the next slide, to the next usage for recently completed actions. For example, you can say, we have just finished dinner. And with adjectives in the superlative form and expressions like the only, first, second. For example, you can say, it is the first time I have received an email from Jake. Now guys, we have finished the usage of the present perfect, and let's move on to present perfect with time expressions. We will talk now about the time expressions on slide 8. Slide 8, okay? We often use present perfect with time expressions which refer to recent past, like only just, like recently, like just. So, for example, you can say a sentence like that. Scientists have recently discovered a new breed of monkey. Scientists have recently discovered a new breed of monkey. Also, you can say, we have just got back from our holidays. And we can use, guys, present perfect with our expressions which include the present, like so far, until now, up to now, ever, and we can use ever, guys, in the questions. And also we can use yet, but we can use yet in questions and negative. Let's move on, guys, to slide 9. We have now, guys, some examples. For example, I can say, have you ever seen a ghost? Where have you been up to now? So as you see now, have you ever seen a ghost? This is yes or no question. So I can say, yes, I have seen a ghost, or no, I have never seen a ghost, or no, I haven't seen a ghost. Both of them will work. Also, you can say, where have you been up to now? This is yes or no question, a WH question. So now you have the WH question where, and then the helping verb is have, subject will be you, and the main verb, the past participle. You can say also, guys, have you finished your homework yet? And the answer may be no, so far I have only done my history. Now guys, as you see, we have finished slide 9 and let's move on to slide 10. And we will talk now, guys, about the difference between for and since. We use for and since for actions that stand in the past and continue up to the present. Okay, again, one more time. We can use for and since for actions that stand in the past and continue up to the present. For example, I can use for a period of time. For example, I can say, I have had this car for 5 years. I have had this car for 5 years. So now, guys, if you notice, 5 years, it's a period of time. That's why I'm using for. But we can use since for a specific point of time. For example, you can say, I have had this car since 2010. Now, as you see, you have a specific point of time. That's why you are using since. And also, guys, you have to notice this form. We can use since in the middle of the sentence, and after since will be past simple, and before since it will be present perfect simple. For example, you can say, Julia has changed jobs 3 times since she came to Lakewood. Now, guys, we have finished the slide 10. And let's move on to slide 11. Have been and have gone. We use have or has been when someone has gone to a place and returned. Okay? For example, I can say, where have you been? I have just been out to the supermarket. That means that, guys, I have gone to a place and then I returned. For example, I can say, have you ever been to San Francisco? No, but I have been to Los Angeles. But when somebody has not returned, we use have or has gone. For example, I can say, where is Maria? I haven't seen her for weeks. She's gone to Paris for a week. So now, guys, that means that she went to a place and then she didn't return back. She will be back tomorrow. Now, guys, let's move on to the next slide about the present perfect continuous. Slide 12. The present perfect continuous, guys, is formed with have or has been and ing form of the verb. We normally use the present perfect continuous to emphasize that something is still continuing in the present. For example, you can say, she has been living in Liverpool all her life. It's been raining for hours. I am tired out. I have been working all day. They have been staying with us since last week. So now, guys, as you notice, now what we are trying that to emphasize that something is still continuing in the present. Okay, guys, let's move on to the form of the sentence in present perfect continuous, slide 13. I will start my sentence by subject she, and then I will put the verb has or have been plus the basic verb plus ing. Like, she has starting our sentence by subject, and then I will put has or have been plus the basic verb plus ing. For example, you can say, she has been swimming. And regarding to the affirmative form will be, she has been or she's been running. Regarding to the negative will be negative, like she hasn't been running. And regarding to the question, how we can form a question, we can say, has she been running? Now, guys, let's move on to slide 15. We will start now our sentence, our slide by slide 15. And after we have finished now, guys, that 14 and we will talk today about the usage of the present perfect continuous. The present perfect continuous, guys, is used to emphasize the duration of a state or action which is started in the past and continues up to present. For example, you can say, I have been learning English for 6 years and I'm still learning. For usage number 2, you can use it for actions which happened over a period of time in the past and may have finished, but the results are obvious in the present. For example, you can say, we have been walking around all day. That's why we are tired. And for usage number 3, we can use the present perfect progressive to show annoyance resulting from a recent action, like, who has been wearing my jacket? Okay, so now I'm showing my annoyance. Now, let's move on to slide 15. And now, guys, we have finished now the past simple and the present perfect simple. And let's start now the questions, to answer the questions. Question number 1, we taken any photos yet? As you see now, guys, you have yet, and this is time expression. So you can use, yes, that's very good, it will be haven't. Let's move on to number 2, Amira, a flower shop. Yes, that's very good, it will be has opened. Number 3, David, to the news agent. He will be back. He will back soon. I'm sorry. He will back soon. He will be back soon. So the correct answer will be has gone. Number 5, my uncle. Since 7 o'clock and he's still driving. Yes, because I have still, so I have to use present perfect continuous, and the correct answer will be has been driving. Now, guys, let's move on to another kinds of questions. Number 1, a long time. As we now slide 16, and as you see now, guys, we have another question. Question number 1, a long time has passed. I saw him. Yes, that's very good. The correct answer will be since. Since I saw him. And as you notice now, guys, we have since in the middle of the sentence. After since we have past simple, and before since we have present perfect has passed. Number 2, we our old friends for a year. Yes, because you have 4 and this is a time expression, so you can use haven't met. Number 3, Tom to be a doctor since he was 10. Yes, it will be has wanted. As you see now, guys, we have since in the middle of the sentence. After since we have past simple was, and before since we have present perfect has wanted. Let's move on to number 4. When my sister was 6, she has had a serious accident. Number 5. Since my father started their job 2 years ago. As you notice now, after since we have past simple. And then the next sentence will be present perfect has met important people from all over the world. Let's move on to number 6. My uncle has been to Germany lately. You have now lately. This is a time expression. That's why you have to use has been. Then let's move on to the last slide 17. Number 1. On to slide 17, and we have another kind of questions. Rewrite the following sentences using the words in brackets to give the same meaning. Number 1, she watched the match in the stadium and returned a moment ago. Between two brackets now, guys, we have been, so I can say she has been to the stadium to watch the match. Number 2, my sister left for the shops and she is still there. Between two brackets now, guys, we have gone, so I can say my sister has gone to the shops. Why? Because she left for the shops and then she's still at the same place. Number 3, I have never seen the Great Pyramid before. And between two brackets now, we have it's. So I can say it's the first time I have ever seen the Great Pyramid. Number 4, when did you start learning Chinese? Between two brackets now, how long use present perfect